24 hours inside the abandoned cave. What we found will haunt you. Before we go any deeper, if this story makes your hands shake, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and keep the light on. We're going in together and nobody looks back. The town called it Black Hollow, a bite in the side of a lonely hill. From the road, the cave looked like a mouth made of stone, teeth broken, lips cracked with moss. Old people said the mine closed after 2 boys vanished one winter. The company sealed the entrance with a rusted gate. Someone later cut the chain. Since then, hikers heard whispers when the wind died. Phones lost time there. Dogs refused to enter. That's what brought us. We were 4. Maya, who filmed everything. Jude, who always laughed at danger. Lena, who carried a little cross on her necklace and kept touching it. And me, Tom, the one who knew the old maps. We planned 24 hours inside. No cuts. No tricks. We wanted proof of what I didn't know. Just that the dark was not empty. At noon, the sun baked the hill. The iron gate stood open like a warning. Maya checked her battery, 100%. Jude grinned and whistled a tune that sounded wrong in the heat. We stepped in, one by one, and the temperature dropped like a hand on the back of the neck. The first chamber was a dome, cold as a church in winter. Water ticked from the ceiling. The floor swallowed sound. When we spoke, our voices came back soft and late. I had the old blueprint rolled in my pocket. The map said there were 3 main tunnels: North Run, East Vein, and the Dead Shaft. The Dead Shaft was a straight shot to a sealed wall where 2 names were scratched. I didn't tell them that part yet. We chose East Vein because it smelled less like metal. Our headlamps cut white shapes in the black. Dust flashed like snow in the light. Lena kept close to me. "Do you hear that?" she whispered. "Hear what?" "Breathing." I listened. There it was, slow, deep, like a heavy sleeper. The air moved against our faces, in and out, as if the whole cave had lungs. Jude said it was normal, just pressure changes. He said it loud, like he needed the cave to hear his science. We kept walking until the tunnel bent and split. Left or right? The map said left, but the right path was covered in old chalk marks, arrows pointing in, then crossed out. Someone had come here before us and changed their mind. Maya filmed the arrows. "Feels like a dare," she said. We went left. The rock walls turned narrow, close enough to scrape our shoulders. The air grew warm and sweet like old flowers. Then the light on my headlamp blinked. What? Twice. It steadied. Maya checked her screen. "Battery just dropped to 92, she said. "No way. I just charged this." "Mine too," Jude muttered. "Must be the cold." But it wasn't cold anymore. We found a room with rails still on the ground, a wooden cart tipped on its side, wheels half buried. On the wall, carved letters waited in the beam of my light. "Do not spend the night." The last word had been carved twice, harder, as if the hand that made it had been shaking. "Cute," Jude said, but he didn't laugh. Lena held the little cross and looked at me. "Tom, show them the names." I didn't want to, but I unrolled the blueprint and set it on the cart. "There's a dead end up ahead," I said. "Years ago they sealed it. The story says 2 boys tried to sleep there. They never came out. People think they got lost. But it's a straight tunnel. Hard to get lost in a straight line." "Maybe they found another way," Maya said. "Maybe the way found them," Lena whispered. We moved on. The breathing grew louder. It wasn't the wind. It matched our steps at first, then fell out of rhythm as if it had decided to walk beside us, not with us. Maya panned the camera. The lens caught something pale at the edge of the light. A handprint. Too high for a child. Too long for a man. We reached the sealed wall. Concrete, rough and stained, with 2 names scratched into it: Andrew, Ellis. The dates were smudged by water. Below the names, fresh lines cut into the grit, as if someone had been trying to write again but ran out of strength. The letters crawled downward like falling insects. Maya lifted the camera. "Say something for the record, Tom." I opened my mouth. The cave exhaled. The lamp over my eyes dimmed to a dull moon. Jude's whistle died in his throat. From behind the concrete, inside the sealed wall, something tapped back. 3 knocks. Then a 4th, slower, like a finger thinking. Lena said a prayer so soft it sounded like breathing. And then the wall answered with our own voices, repeating the words we had just spoken. Only a little late and a little wrong, like an echo that had learned our names. That's what Maya said, half joking, before she hit record again. But her smile didn't reach her eyes. None of us were laughing anymore. The echo had called our names. Mine first, then Lena's. It came from behind the sealed wall, slow and dragging, as if something was learning how to speak through rock. The air smelled like wet earth and rust. When Jude knocked back, the cave went silent, like it was waiting. Maya's camera light flickered. "Batteries at 70, she whispered. "It was 92 5 minutes ago." "That's impossible," I said. But even as I spoke, my phone screen dimmed to black. No signal. No time. Just the reflection of my face in the glass, and behind it, for a second, another one. Jude shook his head. "All right, this is dumb. Let's go back to the main shaft." We turned to leave. The tunnel behind us was gone. Not collapsed, just gone, swallowed by black. The path we came from had shifted like the cave had rearranged its bones. "Tom," Lena said, voice trembling. "The map." I opened the blueprint. It wasn't the same. The lines were moving, thin, ink-like veins crawling across the paper, redrawing the paths in real time. One tunnel slowly curved back to the sealed wall, like the cave wanted us there. Jude laughed nervously. "It's just moisture. It's bleeding through." But when he touched the map, the ink stuck to his fingers, warm like blood. We ran. I don't remember deciding to. One moment we stood there, and the next, our lights bounced off jagged walls as we sprinted down whatever path the dark gave us. The air got colder. What? My breath turned white. Maya's camera caught the sound of something crawling behind us. Not steps, more like dragging. "Keep going," she screamed. We burst into a larger chamber, our lights scattering over a pool of still water in the middle. The reflection didn't show us. It showed 4 figures standing still, their faces blurred, staring back. Lena dropped to her knees, sobbing. "We have to pray." "Don't," Jude snapped. "You'll waste oxygen." But it wasn't oxygen we were losing. It was time. My watch showed 6:42 p.m., then 2:13 a.m., then 11:06 a.m. Each blink changed the hour, like the cave didn't care about clocks anymore. A low hum began to rise, deep and hollow, vibrating the stones. The pool rippled even though nothing touched it. Maya raised her camera, whispering, "It's under the water." The reflection moved before the surface did. A pale hand pressed against the mirror of the pool, from below, sliding slowly across the surface. Then another. Then a face, gray, wet, eyes open but unseeing. Jude stumbled back, tripping on the old rails. "It's a projection," he gasped. "It's light, it's..." The thing in the reflection smiled. The water stayed still. Then came a sound like glass cracking, but it was the air splitting. A rush of wind blew our lights out, and in that instant, something spoke again. "Stay." Not shouted, whispered like a child begging. Maya screamed and bolted toward a tunnel. We followed blind. The air scraped our throats like dust and cold ash. The walls felt closer. My hand brushed rock, then skin, slick and cold. I yanked back, but it held my wrist. I swung my flashlight, but the beam only hit empty space. My sleeve was damp, as if something had touched me with water colder than ice. We didn't stop running until the cave widened again. Maya was crying, clutching the camera to her chest. "I saw someone," she whispered. "Behind you, Tom. It was you, but your face was wrong." None of us spoke after that. We sat in the dark, listening to the steady, slow breathing that filled every corner of the cave, louder now, closer, like it was all around us. Then, faintly from the distance, a ringtone. My phone. It was impossible. I had dropped it back near the sealed wall. Lena stood, her hands shaking. "Tom, it's calling you." The ringtone echoed again, distorted, muffled by stone. And underneath it, between each chime, we heard my own voice whispering back through the cave. "Don't answer." But I already had. She said it to keep herself sane, I think. But her hands were shaking too hard to hold the camera steady. The timestamp flickered between 7:12 p.m. and 3:40 a.m., jumping through hours like the cave had swallowed time whole. The ringtone had stopped. What came next was worse. A faint crackling hum, like someone speaking through a dead radio, drifted through the tunnels. Then my own voice echoed again, soft and near. "You shouldn't have answered." I didn't remember saying that. We followed the sound because what else could we do? The map was useless now. Every path led somewhere different than before. The air shimmered faintly like heat waves underground. Jude's flashlight flickered, showing glimpses of old miner helmets and rusted tools scattered across the floor, but no bodies. Just shadows bending wrong against the walls. When the tunnel opened into another chamber, we froze. There, half buried in the rock, was an old camcorder, cracked, dusty, and humming faintly with static. It wasn't ours. Maya crouched beside it. The label on the side said E. Carter, 1986. "Who's Carter?" Jude asked. Lena's lips moved soundlessly, like she was remembering something she hadn't heard yet. "Alice Carter," she whispered. "One of the boys who vanished." The camcorder flicked on by itself. Its tiny screen glowed sickly green. On it, a boy stood in the same chamber, same rocks, same rails, decades younger. He looked terrified. Behind him, in the dark, something taller moved. The image glitched, skipping frames, and then his eyes turned toward the camera, not the one filming him, but ours. "Leave," his voice rasped through the static. Before it, the feed cut. The chamber went silent again. Then, from somewhere deep inside the walls, came a wet, dragging sound. The kind you feel in your bones. The kind that says you're not alone. We backed away slowly, but the cave shifted again. Literally moved. The floor tilted, stones groaning as dust fell like snow. The tunnel we came from closed with a thundering crack. The only way left was down, into a gap in the floor where the water had drained. Jude jumped first. Then Maya followed, still filming. Lena hesitated, clutching her cross. "Don't," I said. "It's too deep." But the ground gave way under her feet, and she vanished into the dark before I could grab her hand. The fall wasn't long. We landed in a narrow passage glowing faintly blue, walls slick with crystal veins that pulsed like veins under skin. The light came from nowhere and everywhere at once. It wasn't cave light. It was alive. In the center of the passage we found her cross, bent but warm. Maya lifted the camera, whispering, "Lena?" From down the passage her voice answered. But it wasn't right. It was stretched, layered, like 10 Lenas speaking at once. "Come see what it showed me." Jude raised his light. The shape that stepped forward looked like her. Same hair, same jacket. But her eyes were empty, her mouth open in a silent grin too wide to be human. Her skin shimmered like it was made of cave dust. Jude screamed. The thing smiled wider and moved like smoke. It passed right through him. He dropped the light, gasping, eyes glassy. When we picked him up, he wasn't breathing, but his mouth kept whispering, "Stay, stay." I don't know how long we ran. Time had stopped meaning anything. The air pressed heavier, the breathing sound everywhere now, beneath us, above us, inside our ears. Maya stumbled and fell. The camera rolled from her hands, landing on its side. Through the viewfinder, I saw the final image the world would ever see of us. The cave, pulsing like a heart, and the outline of figures walking toward the light, hundreds of them, all moving slow, all wearing our faces. Then everything went white. 2 months later, park rangers found our tent near Black Hollow. The camera was beside it, batteries melted but memory card intact. The footage ended with a single frame, a hand pressed against the lens, dripping with black water. Forensics confirmed it wasn't any of ours. Locals say if you hike near the hill at night, you can still hear 4 voices echoing from inside the cave. One always whispering first, the others answering just a second too late. And if you ever go looking for Black Hollow, remember the last words the cave spoke to us before the recording cut out. "It's your turn to stay."